I'm Connie Confidence and I like to take a chance. I tell myself I can do it, 'cause I'm feeling very confident today. Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin and welcome back for my week 43 plan with me. Along with this, it's also day 17 of my month of planning with me series. Before we get into setting up for next week though, we're just going to have a look at how this week is going. So if you've been following along with my last couple of videos, or if you watched last week's plan with me, you'll know that for this week I was going with this Dutch door layout. So far I'm finding this layout really useful. I love how much room it's giving me for each day to write down my tasks. I really like the pink and orange colour combination, and I feel like it's keeping me a lot more productive for this first week back. Something that isn't working quite so well is my space for my 3x3 reflection. I feel like in my reflection I really want to be able to write more, and the space that I've given myself is kind of on the smaller side. For this reason, next week I'm going to be dropping this section and I'm going to go back to just doing it vocally with Vogel at the end of the day. Before we jump into the time lapse though, just a reminder that any of the equipment I use in today's setup is linked in the description box below. In terms of the questions that we got on last week's video, our first one comes from Sally. In her comment she actually left two questions. The first one said, 1. What do you mean when you say you're marking assessments? Since your term just finished and you seem to have a stack for all your classes, I was assuming that these were the same as American final exams, but now I'm not sure. And for her second question, she said, 2. I am very strongly considering investing in the 2020 PowerSheets when they are released next week. Do you feel like your book was worth the money? The pros are obvious. What are some of the cons? What mindset do you think a person needs to be in for these to be effective? What has been the most powerful impact for you, and what parts have not been helpful? Now, assuming that you're the same Sally that tagged me earlier on Facebook, I am so excited to hear that you did end up getting them. As I've mentioned before, I've found the PowerSheets really helpful for making sure I'm actually making progress towards my goals. So I'm really hoping that you find them to be just as effective as I am. Starting with your first question though, the assessments I was marking are end of topic tests and practice exams. Here in New Zealand, our final exams for our senior students are coming up in November. So I wanted to make sure that I had all of the marking done for their practice assessments so they can use these as revision materials. In terms of my middle school class, or my year 8s, these were final assessment pieces for them. We have at least one final assessment per topic. So in our most recent unit, which was on electromagnetism, they had a criteria B and C assessment, which is the planning of an investigation, then they carry it out, and then they process the data and evaluate it. For your second question, do you feel that the book was worth the money? I certainly do. I swear, as I've said, I have made so much more progress towards my goals having used the PowerSheets rather than before I was using them. I think it's a really good accountability tool for me, and I also think that sharing it with you guys helps to keep me accountable as well. In terms of some of the cons, it is expensive. I understand that it's not a cost that everybody could fork out for. One of the biggest cons for me is probably feeling like my goals aren't groundbreaking enough. I know that Lara Casey has said not to worry if you feel like your goals aren't really big things, but I do kind of find it a little sad that one of my goals is like put away my laundry. I understand that this helps me to cultivate a more positive living environment in my house, but having to write it down on my PowerSheets is a little embarrassing. In terms of a mindset that I think a person needs to be in to get the most out of these would certainly be one that was open to trying it. Of course there are going to be some parts that work better and motivate you more, but giving it a real genuine try when you go and do all of your pre-planning especially is really going to help you get the most out of it. Once you do get them though and you start doing all of that pre-planning and really thinking about what's important to you, it is interesting to see the things that do actually end up becoming your goals, rather than the things that maybe going into it you thought would be your goals, if that makes sense. I hope that answers your question, and as I said, I'm really excited for you. I hope they work really well for you because they are working well for me. For our second question, this one came from Claire, who said, "Yay, I like your week 42 spread. How do you come up with all the different ideas?" This one's really about balancing need and want. As I use my bullet journal in each week, I like to pay attention to the parts that are working for me and the parts that are not. Then when I come to set up the next week, I try and make sure that I'm looking to solve some of the issues that I had for the current week. That idea, and along with the volume of tasks that I know I'll have coming up for the next week, gives me a pretty good idea of the size and type of sections that I'll need in next week's layout. When it comes to actually thinking of the ideas for the layouts though, these mostly just come from my head. If I have a layout that isn't particularly inspired by somebody else, I do tell you guys and usually leave a link in the description box. Though with that said, I spend a lot of time on Instagram looking at bullet journals. And not so much, but still a significant amount of time also on Pinterest. I watch a lot of bullet journal videos, and with all of those things combined, I see a lot of different layouts. Which means that really I'm picking up ideas all the time. Some of my layouts, or at least some of the elements in my layouts, are tried and true. I know that I like them and I know that they work. For instance, my long-running to-do lists that I like to include a lot of the time. So when it comes to thinking about new layouts, it's just about putting boxes in different places. Our third question comes from Daphne, who asked, I know you and Vogel have been together for a long time. How long have you been living together? And did you guys find it hard at first to get used to having both of you in the same space? So this will be our 5th year of living together, I believe. For the first 4 of those years though, we did have other flatmates. And I can tell you it was very relieving moving from having flatmates to just living with him. I wouldn't so much say that it was hard getting used to having us both in the same space, but it was certainly an adjustment. One of the biggest struggles we had was when we had our study in our bedroom. Back when we had flatmates, we had both of our desks in our bedroom, which kind of made it a little bit awkward when I needed to work late, but he wanted to go to bed, or vice versa. Not so much vice versa though. Usually it was me working late. This meant that instead of working at my desk computer, I'd instead have to take my laptop into the lounge or dining room and work there. As I said though, it is a lot better now as we don't have flatmates because we have a separate study to our bedroom. Our 4th question comes from Bujo Helpline, who asked, have you ever done any weight loss spreads? Any tips for staying motivated to fill in a weight loss tracker over time? Weight loss spreads I have done. Have they been successful? No. I love filling in trackers, so I usually don't have too much of an issue with the motivation to fill those in. It's usually just the motivation to actually do the things you need to do in order to lose weight. In terms of tips for staying motivated to fill in a weight loss tracker though, my biggest tip would be just make it insanely easy to do. The easier it is for you to do something, the less resistance there will be to get that thing done, for the most part. If doing a weigh-in every day is just unrealistic, set it to once a week, set yourself an alarm to remind you. Make your tracker something fun so that you actually enjoy filling it in. All of these little things can help keep you motivated to do it. Alrighty, so I have a box for each weekday, and then the weekend is shared, and then a large space on the side here for a running to-do list. What I'm going to do now is go and add in all of the events that I know I have coming up next week. I'm hoping that by giving myself the same large boxes for next week, I'll be just as productive next week as I have been for the past couple days. Flipping back to my current weekly though, I do have some things that I need to check off on here. So, the PowerSheets 2020 came out. There was the New Zealand Shakeout Day. The Year 9 meeting happened, but I was actually too late to attend it, which was kind of a bummer. I did attend tutorials. I did purchase the 2020 PowerSheets. And the rest of the things on this list got done as well. At this stage, I don't have anything that I want to add to my to-do list for tomorrow. And because it's not quite the end of the day, I don't want to do my 3x3 reflection yet. Something I can add to my general to-do list though. I'm going to have to get new passport photos for my new passport because sadly the ones I had weren't high enough quality to, I suppose you could say, maintain their quality after scanning. Which is kind of incredibly annoying. Flipping back to my monthly pages though. So things to check off on here. And I should also probably add that I have high tea on the 27th. Flipping over. So I can partially cross off on report notes, because I did start doing some of those today. Can also partially cross off on comment swamp, because that's been started. At this stage, nothing else can be checked off though. I do really want to organize this one in particular soon, so that's on my radar, but I don't actually have a specific day that I want that to happen yet. Checking off these ones though. I forgot to check my step total for yesterday, but I did reach 7,000 steps. For my social media calendar, so for this video about why I bullet journal, I'm moving that one to tomorrow, and then I'll do the bookshelf video on Saturday. For active minutes, these, again, did not get done. I really do need to make a better effort on those. It's just this week, by the time I get home, I am so tired. Today I'm especially tired because I couldn't really sleep last night. I was really excited about the new PowerSheets coming out, and I wanted to make sure that I got in nice and early so that I could get the color I wanted, just in case. So at about 4:30 AM today, my body decided, oh yep, now is a good time to wake up, because you need to get on your computer, you need to get the PowerSheets. And I said to myself, no body, it'll be fine, we'll just get them when we wake up at our regular time. But then at about 5:15, body's like, nope, we really need to get up, we really need to get those PowerSheets. So I rolled over, grabbed my laptop and purchased them, which meant that by the time I actually needed to get up, I was just like, nope. My word for yesterday is award, because yesterday in the evening I was at the award ceremony for my friend. From memory, she was receiving an Excellence in Teaching award. So very, very proud of her. On to the meal log. And over to my PowerSheets. So filling out my progress on these ones. So as I mentioned, I have purchased, but obviously not yet received, the 2020 PowerSheets, so that one is half done. I made a bit of progress with spending time with my friends, and then yesterday I did do my 7,000 steps, did do my 3x3 reflection, and so far today I have had my 1 liter of water. I swear once I've edited this video and had dinner, I'm just gonna go to bed. I am so tired. Thank you for watching though, team. If you liked today's video, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you wanted to see more from me, feel free to go check out one of my other videos. Until next time, bye!